It's the Butch and Sundance Show.
We're genetically engineered. I don't believe that it's a very simple evolutionary timeline between ancient hominids and human beings. I don't buy it.
Neanderthals, Denisovans, and us, and Frumid, all shared a common ancestor. We even carry bits of their DNA today.
The human brain doubled over a period of like a couple million years, which is unprecedented in the fossil record. It doesn't even make sense.
What could cause the human brain to double in size? Too much yeast in the dough mix? The whole thing just seems completely ridiculous and outrageous. I mean, scientifically, like you said, it's unprecedented. But that's just the jumping off point. That's the basis for what everybody's talking about here.
It's what separates us from the other animals. It's the scientifically unexplained jump from our ape ancestors to the modern intelligent human. Here's the rub, kid. Like Rogan said, something definitely happened. And it's just now starting to come out mainstream. But before we get into that, I think we need a little context.
Oh, you want a little context? Oh, okay. Here we have Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna. Look at her tweet. It's pinned tweet. It means it's up here. Everybody can see it. Read the Book of Enoch. What's the Book of Enoch? Well, the Book of Enoch is basically a story about a group of angels called the Watchers that came down to Earth. They gave humans knowledge. They gave them advanced technology. They gave them hot dogs. Around the same time, they started hanging out with human women, taking them as wives, having kids with them, horny little devils. And then those kids turned into these giant hybrid beings. That's an odd thing for a government official with security clearance to tweet. Let's just lay that out there, all right? Especially someone like Anna Paulina Luna, who's seen all the evidence of what the government knows and is hiding about UFOs and aliens.
Anna Paulina Luna is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, voices pushing for this disclosure right now. She's been on Rogan, she's been across every major news platform, and she's saying the same thing. We need to know, we have a right to know. There are dozens of videos supposedly out there right now that are on the verge of release. Here's the thing, kid. What could they possibly tell us?
I go back to the stories in the Bible and the concept of genetic manipulation. I think there's truth to them. Which is why the Book of Enoch and Ezekiel and those crazy depictions, they ring so strange in our consciousness, because this doesn't align at all with like linear evolution of like hunter-gatherer to agrarian society. It doesn't.
Rogan's right to question this, because if you look at things logically, they just don't add up. Once you start digging, it just like, you got a lot of questions.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally all in the book of Genesis. It's the first book of the Bible. You had the fallen angels. They were booted out of heaven. They came down. They started getting busy with the human women. They produced these hybrids, these Nephilim or Nephilim, depending upon who you talk to, these giant hybrid beings that had a taste for human flesh and probably had toilet bowls the size of friggin' hot tubs. Tim Alberino recently did a deep dive on Jesse Michels.
What you have in the Book of Enoch and in Genesis 6 are extraterrestrial beings descending to the earth.
And notice how he references 2 biblical texts here, not just one. There's actually more than that.
So these Watchers, they did what they did, right? Having orgies at night, staying up late, messing around, a Messerschmitt of epic proportions. And God doesn't like Messerschmitts. So what does he do? He drowns them. He brings the flood. He drowns them like rats in a bucket. The whole world gone. Everybody gone except Noah, the righteous one. Just Noah, his family, and a boat. Everyone else, it's over. They're remembering. Or are they? That's the real question. Did he get them all? Or did some of these giants survive? Stick with us here, because there's 2 paths we're about to go down.
You've encountered personnel in the Air Force who have fought giants in Kandahar in Afghanistan in the mid-2000s. Is that correct?
So wait a minute. We're saying some of these things still exist and soldiers have encountered them?
Yeah, and this is where things get a little stranger than a $3 bill. Because there's a U.S. Armed Forces pilot who claims first-hand experience. He gets off his plane, and he's greeted by this.
They're standing there, as he's standing with the babysitters, he sees a forklift bringing over a crate, a huge crate, an air pallet. And there's something on it, and it's whatever's on it is covered with a tarp. And he said the first thing that hit him was the odor. It was this pungent odor of like BO and death. And he said it was like unlike anything he's ever encountered. He realized that the tarp wasn't covering the whole thing, that parts of this thing were hanging out, and it was apparent that it was a really, really big dude. See part of its head, you could see its hands and its feet hanging off the pallet, and they weren't covered by the tarp. And he said that the hair of this being was red, the skin was pale, white. He said it had 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot. And
I want to know what he does with that extra finger.
What is this, the Princess Bride, the 6-finger man? I mean, here's the thing. I do think that U.S. soldiers are incredibly credible, okay? They are not prone to telling fantastical stories. These guys are committing to what they said they saw.
That's right.
But if you think that's crazy, wait till you hear how big this thing was.
How tall?
so the pallet was 9 feet
9
long, and he's in the fetal position. So they estimated his size at 10 to 12 feet tall.
Wow.
They weighed the giant. They weighed this being because they had to weigh it. The loadmaster had to weigh it before they put it on the C-130. The final weight was 1,100 pounds.
That giant must have had an enormous Warnstucker.
Just to be clear, that's one soldier's story, but there are others who have claimed to have seen these giants. And it's not just in the Middle East. Check out what A.J. Gentili said on the Sean Ryan show.
An archaeologist goes in there and finds sandals that are like size 29 and these giant clothes that, like, I'm not making this part up. You can go see this. Like, why is there a sandal that's this size that are all found in the cave, and bones and red hair?
Now, look, we don't know if there's any truth to any of this, obviously, but when you start connecting the dots between these stories and other stories, reality and myth starts to blur real quick.
What do you guys think? Fact or fiction? And if anybody has any first-hand stories on this giant of Kandahar or any other giants for that matter, please drop them in the comments.
Especially if you've served in the armed forces, let's say in Afghanistan or Iraq. We're curious of any of the stories that you might have heard while doing your tour. So now for the part that really hits home, Butch. When you start thinking all this through, this is the piece of the puzzle that should keep you up at night.
Military ran a very secret program where aliens that were living were in forced breeding programs with humans that had been abducted from war zones and from even the caravans of migrants. Now, again, I didn't verify this, but what the whistleblower was telling me is that there were like between 6 and 12 locations around the country where this happened.
That's former Congressman Matt Gaetz with that bombshell. And there's other government officials like Tim Burchett going around essentially pleading for disclosure. He's talking about similar things he's been made aware of that we're waiting for.
So the connection here is deep and rabbit hole-esque because some people believe that encounters with aliens and NHIs, that's non-human intelligence, are actually the disembodied spirits of these Nephilim, the remnants described in the Book of Enoch, aka the friggin' Watchers who bred with humans and produced these half-breed giants that may have infiltrated our DNA to this day. And with stories of these giants still circulating and news about an actual breeding program in the shadows, I don't know, man. It starts to make an interesting case here.
That's right, kid. And that's the part nobody wants to say out loud because almost every alien abduction story circles back to the same thing. Could Joe Rogan and others be right? Have we been genetically engineered? Do you believe the government actually has breeding programs? Or is it all one big coincidence? Let us know.
We want to give a big shout out to all of you who have been watching and subscribing. We really, really appreciate it.
And if you're new to our show and you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. It really makes a difference.
Till next time, stay prayed up, stay safe. God bless.
And see you soon.
It's the Butch and Sundance Show.